okay? And there is one last thing I want to add to this list. Just to make sure that we got all the major important differences. And this last thing is not gonna, I don't have a lot to say about it right now. Let's talk about moons. Let's talk about moons, okay? Let's talk about moons. How many moons does Mercury have? Do you guys know how many moons Mercury has? Sorry we're going so long today. I just want to finish this out. Nobody's answered anything, and so everybody is correct. Everyone's correct. Mercury has 0 moons, okay? Mercury has 0 moons. Same with Venus. Venus has absolutely no moons, okay? Venus has absolutely no moons at all, okay? Mercury and Venus have no moons. How many moons does Earth have? Don't overthink this. How many moons does Earth have? 1. You'd be surprised. In the past, on the test, the second test, I had a question, which of these planets has 1 moon? And probably 50% of people got that question wrong. 50% of people got that question wrong and answered Venus instead. And some of those people actually told me after the test, oh, I got that question about the 1 moon right. I got Venus, but I don't remember what Venus's moon's like. Could you remind me what Venus's moon's is like? And I'm like, no, that was Earth. The answer to that question was Earth. Oh no! At least this is what I felt like inside. The reason that person didn't remember what the moon of Venus looked like was because we didn't talk about it, because it doesn't exist, okay? So be careful, okay? Don't forget that when you're answering questions about the planets, Earth is always an option, okay? Now, do you guys happen to know how many moons Mars has? Do you guys know how many moons Mars has? I'm just going to see real quick. 2. Yeah, 2. There's 2. So if we look at all that together, we have 0, 0, 1, and then 2. Okay. Do any of you guys know, does anybody know how many moons Jupiter has? Does anybody know how many moons Jupiter has? See if any of you guys know. Yes, so, the correct answer is nobody knows. But you guys are right. It's a whole lot, okay? It's a whole lot. I think the last count that I saw confirmed was actually 68. But that's because a couple of years ago they found another one. And I wouldn't be surprised if they find another one this year. We don't know how many moons Jupiter has, and it's the same for the other Jovian planets. We found at least 60-something for Jupiter, at least 50-something for Saturn, at least 20-something for Uranus, and at least in the teens for Neptune. So what can we add here? What can we add here? For terrestrial planets, let's just put few or no moons. And what could we put on our Jovian list? What should we put on our Jovian list? To fill it out. Yeah, I'm going to use slightly more PG language and say lots of moons. Lots of moons. Lots and lots of moons. Of course, it freezes while I was writing the last thing. We are constantly finding more moons of the Jovian planets. So here's my question. Here's my question. Why don't we know how many moons the Jovian planets have? Why don't we know? Why don't we know? I think you guys can figure this one out. Our brains are stupid. That's true, but that's a little bit unrelated. They're so far away. Yeah, they're so far away. And moons don't have to be as big as our moon. A lot of moons are much smaller than our moon. So moons can be small, and those planets are far away. And in fact, if you really paid close attention to the number I gave for each planet, it was 60, at least 50, at least 20, at least 10 for those Jovian planets. Notice that as you look at planets that are farther and farther and farther away from us, we know about less and less moons. It could be that they have less and less moons, but it could just be, it's harder, the farther away you look, the harder it is to see the moons. So Neptune could have a whole ton of moons that we don't know about, right?